Hey guys, it's Michelle, and today I'm going to share with you all the things you need to know before buying your next home. Hey guys, today I'm going to talk to you about all the things you need to know before buying a home and all the steps you need to take. Please hit the bell for notifications and like and subscribe to my channel. So number one is you want to make sure you're prepared. The first thing you absolutely want to do is get with a lender and get your pre-approval letter. If you're going to be a cash buyer, that's perfectly fine too. Just have all your money ready in your account and have a proof of funds, because that is one thing you'll need to have before you go shopping for a house. So when you meet with the lender, they're going to ask for your documents. They're going to ask for your length of employment, your W-2s, or if you're 1099, they're going to pull your credit and they're going to see where you are with your loan. Let's say you think that you can go out and buy a home for $400,000 and we start shopping, and let's say then you find this house that is $400,000, we want to put an offer in and we don't have a pre-approval. And then you reach out to a lender and they say, guess what? You're only approved for $375,000. That has not only hurt your heart and broken your heart with the dream house that you wanted, but it's also put us back to ground zero of where we need to search for. And you might compare every other house we see with that $400,000 house that you missed out on, and it could be a challenge. So basically, it's about preparing for anything in life. There's a step one, and that is definitely to get your pre-approval letter. Step two in the process is to connect with a professional realtor. What do you think you need in your professional realtor to get you to your ultimate goal? Experience matters. You want somebody who has experience, who's been in the business, or is on a team connected to mentors that can get them through the deal, because this is not HGTV. So connect with a professional realtor. Any professional realtor is going to have tools in their toolbox to get you to the finish line. My favorite tool is negotiation skills. I love negotiating a deal. I could tell you stories about things we've negotiated in even a challenging market that I really love that part of it. I was never a famous poker player, but I really like the negotiating and winning in that aspect. I am certified in real estate negotiations, so it does mean something. Recently, we negotiated a brand new roof for a property, and that's something that is really important. Some buyers don't have money to put on a new roof after they close. So you also want to know the facts. So there is something that any home seller needs to provide in Florida, and it's called a seller's disclosure. That seller's disclosure says everything and anything that's wrong with the property, and it's usually attached to the MLS listing. So your agent that is showing you any property can print that off once when you're ready to make an offer. And you would want to look at that seller's disclosure before making an offer. So number one, get your pre-approval letter or proof of funds lined up. Number two, connect with a professional realtor. Number three, start your home search. The best thing for any agent to do is set you up on a search if your parameters fall in the ones that can be pulled from the MLS. There are some unique ones like, okay, I only want white cabinets. That cannot be a criteria that we click on to set up a customized search, but then we would just look at the homes on our end and just send you those properties. So things that we can set up in your customized search, we can set price, your price range. We can set year built. Let's say you only want a property that is 10 years or newer. We can set a minimum square footage or a maximum square footage. We can set the parameter if you want a private pool, or if you were buying a villa, you would be open to a community pool. We can set that community pool for any search. Whether you want a single family house or a condo or a villa or a townhome, we can set those parameters. If you're asking what those type of homes are, a single family home is detached from anything else. It is going to be one resident living there. Under the condo umbrella, we have a condo, we have a townhome, and we have a villa. Technically, they're all condos. They're going to have a condo association and they're going to have rules and regulations. But there's 3 types of condos in Florida. The townhome is where your common areas are on the first floor and your bedrooms are on the second floor. With a townhome, you're usually going to have a 1-car garage, sometimes a 2, but usually you're going to have a 1-car garage with a townhome. The other property is a villa. I'm from the Midwest, and what a villa is kind of like a half of a duplex. Usually you're only going to have one shared wall with a villa. So, but you have the whole side. That wall is going to be soundproof and you're not going to be able to hear your neighbors. You're not going to have anybody above you. It's going to be a first floor unit, and usually it comes with a 2-car garage, but on occasion just one. So a villa is closest to single family living that you can find in the condo umbrella. Keep in mind, many villas are 55 plus. With that, you're going to have a maintenance-free community. You're usually going to have a community pool. Sometimes you'll have a clubhouse, perhaps shuffleboard, or other amenities like that. But a 55 plus community, there's many villas in a 55 plus community. There are still villas that are not in a 55 plus community, but that's something to keep in mind. Then you have your condo. Your condo is typically 1 story, and the building could be many stories. It could be a 2-story building, a 3-story building, it could be a 10-story building. Those are condos, but typically all your living is on 1 floor. And once you get above 3 floors and more, usually you have an elevator. With this type of condo, usually you do not have a garage. You might have a carport or just a parking space, but usually you do not have a garage. So if you think about Siesta Key in our area, there's many condo buildings and they all have the carports, but those might be the waterfront properties. You might have better views with those condos. And again, everything's on 1 floor, so it makes it really nice. Okay, so in your search, you can identify many things. You can identify the type of property, whether you want a pool or not. You can identify the minimum square footage, your year built, your price range. What else? You can search for properties that allow pets. They can allow 1 pet or 2 pets. And every condo has a different pet weight that they allow. Some only allow small pets. I've seen as little as 20 pounds and under. Some of them are 35 pounds and under. Some of them have no weight limit. Some pet restrictions include breed restrictions as well. So that's all something to consider when you're buying a property. Let's say you want to have a condo with a lanai. That is something we can search for. So there's also keywords that we can search for if it does not fall in all the parameters. But let's say you want a waterfront property and you want to have a dock. We can search for canal front. We can search for bayfront. We can search for gulf front. And we can put the parameter in for a dock. So the limitless options where we can really customize your search is so important, because if you're just going online looking for properties and you're having to scroll through hundreds to get what you want to look at, that makes it challenging and grueling, and we prefer to take all of that out of the equation. So what else? Your customized search is great. So once you identify properties, you can either choose to connect with your realtor and say, I'd like to go see these properties. Or let's say you're flying in for the weekend and you say, Michelle, I would really like a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo on the beach with a water view. And we're coming in this weekend. Can you set 5 of those up that we can go look at? Absolutely. I'll find out what price you'd like to stay under ideally, and we'll get those set up. And of course, we're going to connect you with the best ones. Now, if you're looking for a condo, my first question is this something you're going to live in full time, or is this a second home or an investment? If it is a second home or an investment, I'm going to ask you, are you thinking about renting this property out? And if so, what do you want the rental restrictions to be? We can do a search for a 1-week minimum, 2-week minimum, 1-month minimum, and so forth. But if you're looking for this for an investment where you want cash flow, where you want it to pay some of your expenses like your taxes and insurance, we can find that property for you. Also, keep in mind with condos, usually you're going to have your trash included. Sometimes you'll have your water included. Usually your roof is covered in the condo fee, and all your amenities. So if you're looking for a condo and you're seeing, oh my gosh, their fees are $400 a month, I don't want to pay $400 a month. You really have to assess what you want and what your needs are, because if you're only going to use a property for 4 months out of the year, a condo might be the best choice for you, especially depending on what your price point is. And keep in mind, if that condo fee is $400 a month, a part of that is the insurance for the building, the entire building. If it is near water, that also is your wind insurance and your hurricane protection. So your insurance will be much higher. You're paying for the community amenities. You're paying for the maintenance, the landscaping, the property manager, the insurance bond, sometimes the roads. So you just have to keep in mind what makes up that 400 might be quite a bit, especially if you have a villa and it's 600 and your roof is covered. That's a huge thing to think of. That's something I don't have to pay for. That's one of the most expensive things with a house is the replacement of the roof. And if that's getting covered and you don't have to worry about, that's an expense you'll never have to worry about. And you could really stay in an easier budget. So once properties have been identified, you begin your search. You really don't want to look at more than 3 to 4, maybe 5 properties in a day, because once you hit number 4, they'll all start mixing together and it'll be really hard to remember what you saw and what which one was which. I always recommend bringing a notebook, or we'll give you the sheets, the MLS sheets, and writing down on the back a few notes about the property. This was updated. This one had a bathtub that I didn't like in the master. Whatever it is, to keep notes so you can really keep those properties separate. I always like to play a little game when we go out and start shopping, and it's called Rate This House. And let's say there's a couple coming out, I will ask him and her separately to rate the house on a 1 to 10, 10 being the best. The reason I do this is twofold. Number one, I can figure out what they like and what they don't like and how well they like it. But also, if there's a couple, they may not be on the same page. The woman may give it a 9 and the man may give it a 4. So usually that's not going to be a property that they keep in their top 3 list to pursue in the future. It might just be, forget about it. She loved it, he didn't. We got to keep searching. So that is always a game I like to play, because it keeps everybody kind of in tune, and then we can review at the end of the day. What was your first choice? What was your second choice? Okay. So things to do that an agent will do before you go out on any showings. We're calling the agent or texting the agent to see if there's any offers, because that is not something we can see in the MLS if there's offers on the property. And I don't want to go show you 3 properties today if all 3 of those properties are already negotiating an offer that came in yesterday, because by the time we get inside, the property might already be gone. And that's a waste of your time, and that's a waste of my time, and we're not gonna do that. So we're always gonna see if there are any current offers on the property before we go look at them. Things we need to know when we get there, we're gonna talk about how old the roof is, how old the AC is, if there's any other updates. Most realtors will put all that information either in the realtor remarks or in the comments, so we know the age of everything in the house. They may not know the age of the appliances. If they bought the house 2 years ago and the appliances were already there, they might not know certain things about that. But once we get under contract, we'll then have a home inspection. I have never had or recommended any buyer waive their home inspection. For me, that's like buying a house almost sight unseen. You don't know what's going on with the AC. Even if you know the year built, there might be a problem with the AC that we can't tell because we don't have those tools to test. An inspector is going to get up on the roof or up on a ladder looking at that roof to see if there are any issues. If it's a tile roof, if there are cracked tiles. If it's a shingle roof, do we have missing shingles? Are they starting to curl up? Is it starting to show age? So we really want to have a home inspection on every single property. Other inspections we might have are a 4-point and a wind mitt, and those are for insurance purposes. But depending on the age of the house, we may need both of those inspections as well. And they are usually around $200 to $250 for the two of them. Another inspection I always recommend in Florida is having your WDO, and that is a wood destroying organism inspection, which is also your termites. We want to make sure the house is free of termites, because if we find a house that has any evidence of WDO, we're always going to ask the seller to treat that, and that's going to be their expense. That's not going to fall on you, because it should be the seller's responsibility. What else? So we're looking at property. Let's say we find the property that we like. We're going to print off the seller's disclosure. We're going to see if there's any issues with the property. If it's a property that went pending and then went back active, we're going to find out what happened with that deal. Did it fall through because of financing? Did it fall through because of inspection? If so, what was found on the inspection? Because if a seller or an agent knows what happened with an inspection and it was a bad inspection, some problems came up, they have to disclose that to us. So let's say we're at the point of writing an offer. We're going to give you the best advice on how to pursue that offer as far as inspection time, earnest money amount. If you're curious about, is this overpriced, we'll pull comps for that neighborhood and not comps that are 6 months old or 1 year old. We're going to pull recent comps first for that community. If we have to go beyond that community, we will, but it's not going to be all comps. So let's say there's a community and there's single family houses in there, and they range from 1,500 square feet to 4,000 square feet. And we're looking at a 2,000 square foot house. We're not going to be comparing those to the 4,000 square foot house. That's a 2-story when this is a 1. And yours has a pool and the other one doesn't. We're going to do apples to apples. Just like an appraiser would pull comps, we'll pull comps within a certain range of what that property is, what the subject property is. So then we're writing the offer. The next thing is you're going to get your offer accepted. There's 3 things a seller can do. They can accept your offer, they can reject your offer, or they can counter your offer. So unless your offer is rejected, we're still in the ball game, and we're going to try to get that offer accepted. Then you're going to get your offer accepted. We're going to have a title company, depending on if the buyer's choosing the title company or the seller. In a seller's market, typically the buyer is choosing the title company and paying for the owner's title policy. We'll get into all those expensive of what those entails. We can do a net sheet for you to tell you what your closing costs will be. In Florida, the seller has some closing costs and the buyers have some closing costs. It doesn't fall on one party in Florida. And then we're going to have, after our inspection, of course, we're going to do that. We're going to get our earnest money into the title company. So the first step is we're going to get your offer accepted. Then we're going to go ahead and schedule your home inspection. We're going to get your earnest money into the title company, and we're going to start the process. We will let you know what next step is along the way, so you don't get ahead of yourself and worry about 100 things you have to do. We're going to tell you the next 3 things that have to be done, and just keep the timeline in order. We have a full-time transaction coordinator, so we'll know the timelines all up front. If you're getting a loan, when you have to have your loan application, when you have to have your loan commitment. We're going to get the appraisal ordered up front through your lender. We're going to get the survey ordered through the title inspection, but we're going to keep you on track with all the timelines to make sure we can close on time and we don't forget anything or leave anything behind. If you are an investor and you're looking for a specific home, up front we can search those parameters, and we can try to find properties that are good cash flow properties. Also, if there's a rental history, that's really good, because the past does predict the future. And if there's already momentum with a rental income, that's going to be much better for an investment than if it's a property that's never been rented before. And we want to know the county rules too. If there's a 30-day minimum rental for a single family house, it might not be a property that you would consider Airbnb-ing. So that's also to consider. Let's say during the process or before you actually put an offer in, you're worried about how the area is. Real estate agents cannot specifically comment on crime. We cannot, there are a lot of protected classes. We can't talk about a lot of any of those protected classes. We're not going to be able to tell you the age range for the neighborhood or the makeup or how many families are in the neighborhood. But there are sites where you can go on and you can look those up. There's crime statistics, you can go and look those up. There's also a website for sex offenders, so you can go and see if there's any sex offenders in the area. But there's a lot of sites that we can direct you to. Some of those we just can't answer the questions directly, and that's why, because they're protected classes and we're not allowed to comment on a lot of things. As far as schools, we can give you the best websites for schools. And we can give you you can look at the ratings and you can look at the feedback, and there are a lot of Facebook groups where you can ask about any school. But in Sarasota County, we have excellent schools and there's many to choose from. Of course, I'm partial for the one my daughter goes to, and I know firsthand that I love that one. But I know a lot of people that are in all sorts of different schools, and we have some of the best schools in Sarasota County in Florida. So then before you close, we're going to do a walkthrough. If you're not in town, we'll do that walkthrough for you. And we like to do that the day of closing if possible. But for some reason, if you're closing at 9 a.m., we might have to do that the night before. I always like to do it the day of, because if a pipe bursts the morning of closing and you're not there and the whole house has wood floors and is flooded, the floors are ruined, and you get to the closing table and you close, and nobody knew about this and you've officially closed, it might be tough to have recourse on those issues and getting those remedied, because now you own the property. So that's why we do the walkthrough. We want to make sure at the walkthrough that the property is in the same condition as when we looked at it originally. Now the furniture may be removed, so if there's holes in the walls, we're looking for that too. We're looking for property, we're looking for leaks, we're looking for the overall condition of the property. So with that being said, the next thing that happens is your closing, and we'll have that scheduled in advance. We'll make sure you have your wire transfer done, usually the day before. If you're getting a loan, the lender's wire will also be coming in. And then we hand you your keys and wish you a congratulations on your new home. I hope this video was helpful and informative. And if you have any questions about real estate and the process, feel free to let me know. I hope this serves you, and for more videos like this, please like and subscribe to our channel. For more videos like this, please like and subscribe to my channel. If you want to get a hold of me, please give me a call, send me a text or an email, and I'm happy to reach out to you to assist you with all your real estate dreams.